Hello everyone. I have had such an exciting day today. Now, as you can see, I'm a little shiny. I am not going into the makeup tutorial business. I'm not. I am just using this as an experiment to kind of see what works for me. So in my next video, I'm actually going to be talking about some things that I just purchased because I need to look better than this. So what I'm really talking about today is Open a Book and how we went to go see Beauty and the Beast today. So today we went to go see Beauty and the Beast Ballet. Today was the world premiere. It was the last dress rehearsal, and we got to witness this entire scene. It was so much fun because, as you know, I do love Beauty and the Beast, and I have loved the variety of the stories, and so I was really interested to see how Michael Pink was going to go ahead and interpret his idea of Beauty and the Beast. So the ballet was absolutely amazing. So let me show you some scenes from when I was there. Okay, so here we are. Today we are at the last dress rehearsal for Beauty and the Beast! Right? Beauty and the Beast? Alright, so I'm going to give you a tour around the theater here. This is a really pretty theater. What is this? The Marcus Performance?
Marcus Center for Performing
Marcus Center Performance Arts Center. Hey, I should know that. I used to do tours around here. So, okay, so here we are. Here's Tavin and Jared, all excited. All right, so I'm gonna stand up and show you. We are really close, as you can see. We're right by the orchestra pit.
It's trademark. Who knows?
Look at how cool this set is.
It's not even a set. It's just a background.
I'm gonna kill Willow. I'm going to kill Willow. My best friend's daughter. Oh, look at this. It's just a backdrop. All right. So we're going round and round. We have the directors and the choreographers and everyone here today because they're going to be doing their last dress rehearsal today, and that's what we get to see. So we'll give you another tour of here, the orchestra. How cool is that? All right, so we're getting ready to watch the final dress rehearsal. It's the final countdown. Yeah, okay. See you later. All right, so Willow apparently has something that she needs to say.
Are you giving me the camera? What?
What did you say?
The final dress rehearsal of the world premiere.
Look into the camera.
No.
Yeah, she's all big talk until the camera's on her.
Give me a warning.
Warning.
The final dress rehearsal of the world premiere of Beauty and the Beast by Michael Pink. Very big, important deal.
It's a very big, important deal.
Michael Pink. Yes, very big, important deal.
Willow studies ballet, and so this is a big deal for her because Michael Pink apparently is someone very important in the ballet world. I wouldn't know. I don't follow ballet like that. I follow Beauty and the Beast. All right? So she's a ballerina? I'm a reader. Okay, now I'm gonna say goodbye, and we'll see you after the show. Okay, so intermission for Beauty and the Beast, and we're gonna go check out their displays that they have. So here we sit in the garden of roses. Okay, so you can see the display here. This is, we were told right before it started by Michael Pink, that we are the first on the planet to actually see this. I'm going to show you this display here real quick because we have to go back.
The second half of the afternoon student performance will begin shortly. I encourage you to return to your seats at this time. Once again, the second half of
Okay,
Beauty and the Beast.
we are going to go back to our seats. Here we go. So back to the second half. We are loving it so far. Michael Pink said we're the first on the planet to actually see this. So I am really, really thrilled about this performance. Very colorful, very lively. The music is just quite fantastic. Just very moving with all the characters. The props are part of the dance. It's so cool. So I highly recommend that if you get a chance to see this performance, that you do so. We're going back in. Okay, so those last shots that you saw, we were told that we could not stand up and applaud for the ballet. And we had to leave very quietly because they were still working on everything as we left. Now, when we left, we were able to go out into the lobby, out into the hallways, and there were a lot of TVs out there that were still filming what was going on inside the theater with all of the cast, as well as the directors, the choreographers, and Michael Pink. So we were able to see all of that going on through the TV screens, and that's what you saw. Apparently what was going on at the end, according to my husband, he said was called "They're Getting Notes." And I was like, what do you mean they're getting notes? Like, what does that mean? Passing notes in high school or what? No, apparently what they were doing is they were getting critiqued. So there were some things that I saw, you know, even from an amateur eye, I saw some things that probably were critiqued and probably talked about. What was really cool is we also got to listen to the orchestra while the ballet was going on. We could hear the conductor talking to the orchestra, like, do this, do that, like during the music. And we also, at the very beginning, got to listen to the conductor talking to the orchestra about some things that he wanted to change, some notes that he wanted to make on score 100 or line 100. It was really, really cool. So we got to see that. We saw Michael Pink get up and introduce the ballet and talk about that we are the first on the planet to ever see this ballet of Beauty and the Beast. So I was very excited about that. Now let me tell you a little bit about it, because of course we can't take our cameras in there and film any of the ballet. This was by far one of the best ballets that I have seen. And since we've been homeschooling, we've gone to a lot of ballets. My best friend Anne is really great at coordinating these homeschooling events at the ballet. And she gets a super great discount, and sometimes she gets us these special seats for these last dress rehearsals. Being able to witness all of this, we weren't really sure what to expect. We weren't sure if there would be some interruptions or if there would be like, cut, stop, that stunk. We had no idea what was going to happen. None of that did happen. The ballet just went on as if it were really happening. And I believe that's what a last dress rehearsal does. You go through the whole thing, whether you make mistakes or not, you don't stop. And then you get critiqued afterwards. You saw on the TV screens the things that we were able to see when we all had to leave the theater. Now let me talk to you a little bit about the interpretation of Beauty and the Beast in this ballet. As I mentioned, I wasn't sure what adaptation that they would be taking this from. Was it going to be from the original, or was it going to be from the Disney version? Well, what they did is they took both of them and just smashed them together. And that was really great. If you didn't know this original story, then you would have been lost. You would have been like, where's Gaston? Where are all these other characters? Why aren't there teapots floating around and singing Beauty and the Beast? Well, because what he did is he took the original story and he also conveyed it into parts of the Disney story. It was incredibly colorful. The costumes were brilliant at the beginning when they showed the ball with the prince. And these costumes were bright green and orange and just hot, hot pink, gorgeous, gorgeous colors and bright yellows. And it was just amazing, beautiful, beautiful set. But then, of course, as you saw, that screen that Willow gave me a hard time about and said it wasn't the set, it was part of the set. Because part of that, it was completely sheer. So there was a curtain that went up behind it, and you got to see everything going on behind this tree. Because, of course, we know that the prince lives in this forest, this deep, deep forest. So we get to see all these scenes going on. I mean, you don't watch the whole entire ballet with the screen in front, but you get to see a lot of stuff in the beginning behind the screen going on. And it was gorgeously done because you feel like you're watching it through the trees and, you know, you feel like you're in the forest. And so the screen that you saw, there was so much going on behind it. And at first, the prince has this amazing, gorgeous, silk red cape. And it's super long, and he's riding on a fake horse, of course. Fake horse, of course. Of course. It's not a horse. So you see the robe flapping up and down and getting air in it and making it look like he's going really, really fast when he's just really slowly moving across the stage. So that was the beginning of it. And they used the story of the fairy from the original. So that was one thing that I liked. However, you don't really get a lot of in-depth story about the fairy like you would in Beauty and the Beast, because we know that in the original story of Beauty and the Beast, it doesn't stop after he gets transformed back into his normal prince self. No, in the original story of Beauty and the Beast, we actually get the story of the fairies, and we get the story of why he was turned into a prince. And one of the things that I had to tell Jared on the way home, because he didn't quite understand some things that were going on, is I told him that they did take this idea that the prince was a bad guy and he was mean and he didn't understand beauty, inner beauty, and all that. But if you know the original story about Beauty and the Beast, The prince was not a bad guy ever. He was always a good guy. It was the fairy who was bad, who wanted to marry the prince, but the prince refused to marry her because she was old and ugly at that time. However, he also loved her like a mother because this fairy took care of her because his mother was a warrior queen and she was off at war all the time. So in the original story, this fairy gets really upset that the prince won't marry her. So she decides to take revenge on him because she doesn't get what she wants. So everybody has always skewed the story about the prince, which is unfortunate. I can understand why you would want to put that story that way, but I'm telling you, the original story really could be done brilliantly if somebody ever wanted to really take this book and make it what it is, because the story of the fairies are really, really awesome. Now, the other thing we had was Belle wearing her traditional blue and white hanky dress, is what I like to call it, because it looks like she's wearing a handkerchief. Really, I don't find that very beautiful, but again, we are supposed to be looking at the inner beauty and not her outer beauty and her appearance and things of that nature. But they took that from the Disney character, which was a little unsettling, but whatever. We also got lost in the fact that she had no brothers, she had only 2 sisters, and Disney shows she has no sisters, no brothers, so at least they did do the sisters. And then the sisters fall in love with 2 twin brothers. What's really fun about that is that the sisters always confuse their boyfriends with each other. And the twin brothers always look at the girls and say, like, wrong one. And then they go back to their original beau. So that was really fun. That was really well done. Now the Beast, who played the Beast, the transformation was one ballet dancer to another. So what happens in the transformation when the prince turns into the Beast, he goes up onto this pedestal on this kind of platform with these columns that come down, and the screen comes over him and it gets really, really dark and smoke comes up and he gets wrapped up in these twines and he gets taken up and the smoke comes out and all of a sudden below comes the Beast. And the Beast is not dressed like a beast. He's really has this amazing skin tight, almost see-through entire leotard from the wrist all the way down to the ankles up here, and everything looks like veins. So because he is a wild beast, of course he would be almost naked. And his hair is really, really long and wild, and he was hot. There is no Beauty and the Beast music in this ballet, none whatsoever. So if you go to this ballet, don't expect to hear Beauty and the Beast or any of the other songs or any of that stuff. This is really adapted and recreated by Michael Pink to represent 2 stories coming together, and I think he did a great job. However, I think like in 2 hours, there was a little bit more of these town scenes of the town people jumping around and dancing than was really expected. I would have expected more of the story of Beauty and the Beast rather than these townspeople just dancing for, a half hour. It was really too much, and even Jared said the same thing. We were both a little bit like, what does this have to do with anything? I don't particularly care for it. It's not really part of the story. I could understand showing the sisters with their boyfriends, and then when Belle came, they got upset when Belle comes back home. Because, of course, at this point, the sisters are married, and now the husbands are kind of looking at Belle, and of course it's bothering the sisters, and then she leaves, and most people don't understand. Now, when Belle is back home, and they show the Beast, he's out in this garden, and the garden are these big, huge boxes that look like hedges, and inside the hedges are these green hands that come out. And oh my gosh, when they did the flowers in the beginning, the roses, let me tell you, it was amazing because they had the hedges spinning around and the dad was dancing through them. So the hedges were dancing and moving along with the dancer. And it was amazing because the hedges, 3 hedges, were his partners. And just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So these hedges are dancing around with him, but all of a sudden they all turn around and there's all these roses. But all of a sudden you see all these cute little kids' faces in some of these roses popping up all over the place and little hands here and there. It was amazing. It was so cute. And then later, when Beast is starting to die, he is struggling. He's trying so hard to stay alive. So he's fighting with these hedges now. Now the roses are dying and there's all this greenery, like almost like ivy had been taken over, some kind of weed taking over these hedges and the roses are gone. But now you see him as he struggles against the wall, how the hands come out and try to grab him or choke him or pull his legs down. So that was really, really cool. And he was just absolutely brilliant. He was an amazing, flawless dancer. And Jared and I both said that it was almost kind of a shame to see the prince come back because the Beast was beautiful. He was absolutely beautiful and he was incredibly talented as a dancer. And he did more of the modern style interpreting ballet than the traditional style. So that's kind of why I liked him. And that was really fun because it showed kind of that wild side of the Beast, just being wild, but flawlessly. Like, he wasn't just flailing around being a beast. He was very elegant and flawless in his dancing and his moves, and everything was used as part of the dance. The props were always part of the dance. It was like almost nothing was just there just to show. It was there to be used, like the dinner table. They would dance on it, skirt around it. The chairs that were there, they would do dances on the chairs. The columns that would come up, they had stairs on wheels, which was really fun. And they would do these walking as the stairs were moving across the stage. So there was just so much going on, and it was so fun because everything was used and everything just flowed perfectly. You sat there and watched the set change right before your very eyes, but it wasn't something that was just appealing, catastrophic, like, oh my God, the scene just changed. The gargoyles came in and slowly everything transformed. It was like a switching right before your eyes, but beautifully done. So that is my Open a Book series today. You must see this ballet. I highly recommend it, but I also highly recommend that you read the original story. As I said, you can get it on Kindle for $1.99 or even 99 cents. Or you can just buy this really cool book that I love with all the interactive elements in it. But you really should know the original story so that, and your kids should know that too. If you're taking your kids to the ballet, they really should understand the story. Otherwise, they're going to get a pretty big shock when they don't see the dancing teacups and singing lanterns. However, I won't give any surprises away. There are some of those things that take place, and the way they did it was brilliant. I am so grateful that you came to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to continue watching and don't forget to subscribe.